Hey players, this is Friaza and welcome to part 3 of my Onepiece Kaizoku Musou series. Last part I showed the map itself and a bit about what was going on in Explorer here. So in this part I will show the actual game and how the events work. So let's head straight into chapter 1 and have a look at this. And you'll notice that Kobe's name changes multiple times throughout this cutscene. If you've not watched One Piece, then Kobe is that pink-haired guy over there, who is the first protagonist that our main protagonist, Monkey D. Luffy, meets. I won't show too much of the actual game because that will ruin it, but Arc 1 is fine to show. I've done the first 3 arcs of the game. The Kuro arc took a lot longer than expected, so sorry about this delayed part. I wanted to start it after Kuro arc had done, and I started Kuro arc right before starting part 2, so there was quite a large gap there because I lost half of the Kuro arc and did some redecorating in the house, so I've been a little busier than expected and demotivated from losing half of the arc, but it's done regardless. So I've also made the map for the Krieg arc last night and it turned out pretty well, although apart from the Baratie, the Krieg arc's map is pretty empty, but if the main focus of that arc is going to be the Mihawk boss and the Don Krieg boss, so it will have significantly less storyline than the other arcs as it focuses more on the actual action. Which I feel this game needs because it seems to, particularly in the Kuro arc, have not much action. Although the cool thing about the Kuro arc is that, well, okay, I'll leave that for later, sorry. I don't want to ruin 2 arcs ahead and we haven't even looked in arc 1, so let's have a wee look around here. We have some battles, we've Kobe, whose name's actually matching his character for once, as it was changing between oh, no, you're not supposed to chase me now, okay, just stand there, get better. We have our attacks over here. I'm going to go into full screen modes and we can close that here, which closes the GUI which was cloned into our player GUI as Kobe stopped talking. And now the 3 events of the game. Despite the script which controls this game actually not existing anymore because it removes itself, it is still controlling the game. It's pretty cool how even though the script controlling the game doesn't exist anymore, it is still working. But I'll go get the other one from the actual lighting folder. Now, after all the cutscene nonsense where it's just scriptable cameras moving around in loops, which takes a long time to set up and get it perfect. I felt so stupid the first time I did it that I messed it up so that when Kobe spoke it'd be looking at Luffy and when Luffy spoke it would be looking at Kobe. But yeah, the events. The events are actually very simple in the game. There's 2 types of events that I use, all repeat loops. The first one is a repeat wait 0.1 until there's no pirates left inside the player's character where all the enemies are kept, as I will demonstrate here. Workspace, camera, rule each, and pirates. So when all the pirates are wiped out, it will continue. I can also add an and there and add like a boss's name like Kuro or something, so that you need to defeat all the pirates in Kuro or all the marines. Yeah, so that's one type of event. So let's get on with this. At the start Luffy has 2 attacks, not 4. Well, 3 if you count Stamp, sorry. So Stamp, Pistol, and his base attack. And here comes the second type of event, which well, I won't open the script, but it repeats wait until your character reaches a certain position of X, Y, and Z coordinates. In this case, it will be when I get right about here, and I made it so that it's impossible for you to get back in there even without being stopped, which is pretty cool. And then we have more enemies here, which can provide quite a challenge. Or should I say did provide a challenge till I tested the game 1,000 times in every arc. Here there's two types of enemies. The ones that attack you with melee and just walk towards you. I'll let one hit me with kicks and punches. And then the ones that tend not to move and will shoot you at intervals, but they can also attack you for weaker damage. There's also a third type of enemy which I didn't end up using in this arc because they were overpowered, which is like another enemy which will use range with a powerful shot, but after you touch it, it will start chasing you with quite a good melee attack, but I didn't end up using that. And here we have another cutscene with Alvida. And this is where the final stage of the game, the arc, comes into play. At the end of every arc there is a boss, in this case Alvida, which isn't a very strong boss because this is the first level, so not saying Alvida's weak. She has powerful melee attacks, and also her mace itself does quite good damage. But then occasionally she does that attack where she just goes and blasts you backwards with a powerful attack. Let's take care of these gunmen first. I have to admit that one gunman that happens to look like Shanks. I should have made a random system for the gunmen. What I do is I have like 3 types of pirates that I use, and I just like mix and match their outfits. Maybe remove a shirt here, change the hair colour there, to make them different. But I should have made a random system beforehand, but getting a hold of all these different meshes and clothes was a pain, so I ended up just settling for a simpler version, which doesn't really matter because in the actual Kaizoku Musou game they didn't put a lot of effort into variety, so I guess it doesn't really matter too much. And that's arc 1 complete. I won't be like going through all arcs spoiling everything, but let's take a look at arc 2. Now in this next part of the game, character switching comes into play. What character switching is when, well, I guess it's self-explanatory, but it's when your character changes to another character that you use in game. Like from Luffy to Zoro, which removes your Luffy appearance, gives you a Zoro appearance and Zoro's attacks, which was quite tricky to do, but the trickiest part was the things like the special bar and the health bar, making sure you don't have duplicates. But after that was the way it was fairly straightforward, just removing the swords when you're not Zoro and the staff when you're not Nami, or etc. So yeah, that adds a lot of effect in the game, being able to instantly switch characters by cloning your appearance, pasting you and changing your attacks.